Hi everybody, and welcome to my guide on Veigar, a champ I think every mid laner should have in their back pocket and ready to execute and stomp out some games. A little bit of my experience with Veigar. He's my most played champion by a long shot with over 300k mastery points through my several accounts. I also have about 500 games played on him, doing everything from tank top lane to AP mid or AP support, and even a pretty troll but really fun on-hit AP build. He's great if you'd like to put that one person in all chat spamming about how good he is in the dirt with the single rotation. Alright, and let's dive right into Veigar's kit. First off, his passive, one of a really impactful passive. We got Phenomenal Evil Power. So, Veigar gains a stack of Phenomenal Evil whenever he hits an enemy champion with an ability, and 5 stacks whenever he scores a champion takedown. Veigar gains 1 ability power for every stack of Phenomenal Evil. Alright, and next up is his Q, which is predominantly going to be used for lane harass and for farming. So, the passive, killing a unit with Baleful Strike grants 1 stack of Phenomenal Evil and doubled against large minions and monsters, so make sure to get those cannon last hits in with this. The active is Veigar unleashes a bolt of dark energy in target direction, doing magic damage to the first 2 enemies hit. Now with this Q, a lot of people don't respect how it goes through one minion and hits the second, so if you're in a little bit of a lower elo, just make sure to try and farm those back wave casters by hitting it with the one and trying to hit the champion with the second part of it. Alright, and what makes Veigar so strong in the late game, I think, is Dark Matter, so it's his W. Veigar calls a massive Dark Matter to fall from the sky, which lands after a 1.25 second delay in the target location, doing magic damage to all enemies hit. And it also gets a cooldown reduction based on how many stacks you have. So late game, you could just be throwing these out every 1.5 seconds if you have CDR. And also I found the hitbox is a lot harder to see on Omega Veigar, so if you're really invested in Veigar, I would recommend that skin just because it's a lot easier to miss. Or it's just I just hit so much more. I don't know exactly what it is, but it is definitely a little bit of a cheat on the skin. Alright, and next up is Veigar's E, which gives him a huge amount of zone control and gives a massive stun. It lasts for a very long time. It's usually what you want to scale up second because you get a longer stun duration. So this is where you just really need to be impactful in the team fights. You just need to place it to stop the divers from coming in, and it's your only defensive with Veigar, so it needs to be placed just at the right time. Alright, and finally the last ability, his Ult Primordial Burst. It's definitely my favorite ability, where you can just kind of throw it on a low HP target and just kind of do a fadeaway and walk away from him. So it deals bonus damage based on target's missing health, and it also has a 0.75 AP ratio scaling, so it is a massive amount of damage. Alright, and let's jump into the runes that Veigar can use. Now, he's really diverse with what he can do, but if you're looking to be just super optimal, all the pros take Unsealed Spellbook, just so you can get that early TP back to lane and keep up your farm, which synergizes really well with your passive and how you just want to keep on stacking. And also later game you can change it out for something a little bit more defensive like barrier, heal, and team fights. Another really good keystone down that tree would be Cosmic Insight, because he scales really well with CDR, especially since his W just keeps getting lower and lower, the cooldown on it throughout the game. Another thing I found that's pretty good down that tree is Perfect Timing. Now, as we all know, Veigar is super squishy if you're not running a tank build or Abyssal Mask first build, so he really benefits from Perfect Timing. Alright, in the next row I found Predator can be really fun. Now, it can help you get catches with your E, so if you're kind of playing against a team that's just trying to kite back and get away from you and just kind of disengage, Predator can be really good for that. Also, it is really strong in ganks, especially when you're roaming bot lane, to get that double stun off. Another few things if you're going down that tree, Ravenous Hunter can be pretty good for sustain if you're because you're just doing a lot of damage with your abilities, so you will get a decent amount of ability back, and Zombie Ward is also pretty useful because you don't really need the eyeball collection because you get so much free AP. The zombie wards just really heavily outweigh that. And another thing I use from time to time would be Summoner Airy. It adds a little bit more damage, kind of self-explanatory. It's pretty good for harass early in lane phase if you're against something that's melee. And then Veigar really thrives off CDR, giving him more chances to farm, more chances to shoot off his abilities, and it really helps with stacking. So I found Transcendence is a very good pickup. And also, since we usually go mana item first, I don't really like mana full ban on Veigar. I think his ult has such a great impact that Summoner's Hat is a very good pickup. And if you're looking for something that is a little bit more fun, maybe a little bit more trolly, or you just tired of getting one shot by assassins, Aftershock can actually be pretty fun on Veigar as it procs off your E. And it gives you a huge amount of defensives when you're getting dove by, say, a big tanky jungler like Sejuani and, say, an assassin backing him up. Also, a couple other runes to help you out in lane phase because he's pretty weak in the early lane phase. Second Wind to give you that little bit more sustain when you're hit, and Bone Shield to just, again, stop those combos of, say, a Fizz or a Talon going in on you. Can really be the difference between life and death. Alright, and let's get right into Veigar's items he can use. Now, he is a kind of a mana-hungry champ, and you really want to stay in lane as long as possible without getting poked out, just throwing out your Qs and farming. So I do recommend a mana item first. Now, if you're against a really heavy AP mage like, say, Syndra, who has a lot of kill pressure, I recommend going the Abyssal Mask first, which is a very, very strong defensive item, and it gives you a bit of scaling percentage damage, which is really good, and a bit more HP, so you're not as susceptible in ganks. Now, if you feel like you're up against an easy lane opponent, maybe he's not that good, or just a really easy matchup, I recommend to go Ludens, because Ludens gives him such immense power in the early game, where Veigar traditionally really wasn't that strong, and he kind of slugs around until like maybe 2-3 items and has a good amount of stacks. It really can give you that little bit extra of early burst to get that kill pre-level like 8 or 7. Another item I found is really good, and it just feels nice on Veigar, is Archangel's Staff, giving you a massive mana pool for that late game when you're throwing out a bunch of Ws because it's on such a low cooldown from the W passive. If you're looking for a little bit more of a forgiving, a little bit more tankier build, maybe if you're a little bit lower elo, Rod of Ages can work. It doesn't give you any CDR though, so that's kind of, it's a bit of a struggle. So let's go down to the next line. So a few defensive items that I found are pretty good on Veigar. You can go with a Zhonya's. If your enemy has a really high impact ult, they're just looking to throw on you every fight, like a Sejuani ult, a Zed ult, or Fizz ult, or Talon ult, that can be really good. Another good defensive is the Banshee's Veil, which is good against things like Blitzcrank or Thresh with that one skill shot that land and just instantly kill you. Another item I'm really looking forward to coming out, and I think will synergize so well with Veigar's kit, is the Shurelya's, because it will give you that little bit more extra movement speed to get a catch on your E. Now, Veigar is a very multifaceted champion in what you can build, so I do usually like to go at least one utility item. The four we have there, first the GLP to help you get more catches. I do recommend you get one type of catch item, whether it be maybe running Predator or going GLP, or when Shurelya comes out, to use that, and it can really give you those catches you need in the late game to turn the game in your favor. Something that is actually really fun in this lineup is the Spellbinder's Orb that you can just pop when you want to even one-shot someone a bit harder. It can be really good. Another good item is Morello's. It gives you a bit of spell pen. If you're going up against a team with a lot of healing, it can also be really effective. So it's just a bunch of stats that Veigar likes. As long as you're not rushing it, because you're running a mana item first, it is a good pickup. Another good utility item for Veigar would be Rylai's. Now you're going to have really low CDR, and if you just want to kind of kite a little bit and peel for your ADC, Rylai's can be really effective because you have a bit of AoE with your Q and W. Now, for the fun items, Rabadon's is just one of the best items you can buy on him second or third because, first of all, it got buffed. Second of all, it just compounds your passive and just makes you that much stronger. And I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoyed the double needlessly large rod build path. It just feels like you're just building straight raw power and you just want to kill things. Another good item to get second or third if they're stacking a lot of magic resist is the Void Staff. And pretty self-explanatory, just take it when they have a lot of magic resist. Another kind of fun item on Veigar is that Leandri's Torment. It's good to just kind of stack it up. It's passive, giving you the 10% more damage early with Q and W poke. And then when you're looking to one-shot, you're going to have that 10% ready, that extra 10% damage, and it's just going to make your all-in that much better. Alright, and let's dive right into some of the matchups you're going to see with Veigar. Now, I broke it down into 3 different archetypes and hard and easy matchups. So let's first start with my favorite to go up against, the long-range mages. For example, Lux, Vel'Koz, and Ziggs. Now, usually you're able to just stay at your max Q range and farm with your Q. And you have really good gank assist with your E, and it's just really a simple lane that lets you scale into the game. They're not going to be too aggressive on you usually. You just need to dodge their poke, and this is a good time usually to take teleport if you think you're going to get hit with a lot of poke and take the unsealed spellbook. Now on to mid-range mages like Swain, Victor, and Annie that are going to have a little bit more kill threat on you just because of high impact ults and a little bit more catch potential. Now they can be a little bit tricky. I'd say they're kind of it really depends on the player you're playing against. Again, just try and stay at max range with your Q, and when they use their catch abilities, or say Annie uses her stun, try and use your E cage. And with things like that have super high impact ults that are just trying to one rotation you, like Victor with his alt EQ combo, or Annie with her Tibbers EQ, this would actually be a good time, I think, to take bone plating, just to get that little bit more defensive, a little bit more base HP to live through that and just be able to flash away before they can kill you. Now another fun archetype to go up against are assassins. Now you really have to respect their range and just try and hit them with max range Q pokes and just farm under tower because you're going to destroy them late game. Just don't let them get off those easy kills that help them snowball the game. Just think of it as, hey, I know that they're going to do really well early, but I'm going to destroy them late. So let's just try and go even at this point. All right, some really hard matchups I found with Veigar, and if you have any good tips, please leave a comment for me on my video about how you deal with them. Fizz seems to be really rough, and usually it forces me to rush a Abyssal Mask first just so I can kind of live through that burst and get a lot of magic resist. Simply because he can just E through your E, and he can ult you from a really long range. Another kind of tough matchup, but you do outscale, is Morgana. So Morgana support or mid, with her spell shield stopping, or her black shield stopping your E stun and a lot of your damage. Another one that is pretty difficult is the Vladimir, because his pool allows him to go through your E again. Kind of the common theme of your hard matchups are things that can bypass your defensive E ability and just kind of burst you and all in, just like Vlad does with his Flash, Alt, EQ, and Proto Belt somewhere up in there. And now, onto his easy matchups. I found some really easy matchups are Corki and Galio. Just build an Abyssal first and just farm out those lanes. They really won't have any kill pressure on you, and it'll just allow you to kind of scale up and become a light late game monster. Alright everybody, and that will do it for my Veigar guide. I really appreciate all the support recently. You guys got me above 20 subscribers, which is pretty big. I know it might not seem like that to most people, but it really means a lot, and thank you so much, guys. Make sure to leave a comment if you know any really cool Veigar guides or how you're doing your specific rune and mastery setup. I love talking setups and just trying to optimize and kind of find the best thing to do. So Please like and subscribe if you liked the video, and take it easy.